Subscribe to Pamex channel. Click on the bell icon to receive notification on new video. Like and share the videos. Thank you.
People, we are meeting a very dynamic personality from the industry today, Mr. Vikram Photedar, Business Advisor at Pac-One Solutions LLP and CEO at Photedar Engineering Services. He is a dynamic technocrat with well-rounded engineering experience in factory automation, installation, commissioning of capital equipment, and process knowledge for flexible packaging and converting industry. So we welcome you to Pamex channel, sir.
Thank you, Neha.
So, sir, multi-layer printed flexible packaging has for long been preferred as a cost-effective and versatile packaging choice in cost-conscious markets such as India. However, lately there have been several campaigns to curtail such packaging because of its harmful effect on the environment as post-consumer use later. In this context, what are your views about the future of such packaging and how must it evolve to meet this challenge?
So I think, prima facie, everybody knows that packaging is essential. There's no way around it. So packaging is here to stay. Flexible packaging out of all of the formats is the most efficient in terms of the amount of material utilized for packaging versus the amount of content that is being packaged. So that efficiency has been established long ago. Now, specifically about, and there is also no doubt about the fact that, littering has caused environmental hazards, and I think Ellen MacArthur has done a fabulous job at making the world aware of what, the price that Earth has paid for the excesses. But I think the main crux here is less to do with packaging and the format itself and more to do with consumer behavior and, political will and the infrastructure needed for waste collection and recycling. So a lot of initiatives and effort needs to get into that aspect of the problem. Of course, tuning up the packaging structures as well is going to help a lot, because if we move towards structures which are more monofamily, like family, and yet can maintain our barrier properties to ensure containment of the product, then what we will see is that it becomes easier to recycle. And once standardization happens on the structures, then I think it should be far better going forward. But this is, I don't see this happening anytime soon. This is a process which is going to take its course, and perhaps by 2030, 2035, we're going to have things in place to and be more efficient.
Great. So with the growth of social media and targeted marketing, there is a growing need to cater to packaged products for niche groups and customization for consumer delight. At the same time, digital print capabilities on various substrates have evolved as well. So in this context, to what extent have post-print capabilities been developed for pouch making, zip closures, etc., to keep pace with this demand?
I think particularly when I speak about flexible packaging, so digital is now gradually taking its share of the market in in sheet-fed processes. And it is also starting to become successful in the label industry. In flexible packaging per se, it's still at a very fledgling stage. It still has to be developed. I think HP Indigo and the others are doing a fabulous job at creating new standards and promoting it. But I think we still have a long way to go. We still have to have materials. See, there are two pressures acting simultaneously. So you have the thrust towards short run, and you also have the thrust towards sustainability. So not only are we trying to innovate materials at the same time for sustainability, but also compatibility with digital media, digital printing processes. So these two things together, I think, so there is a lot that the machine suppliers have to cope with, specifically from a post-print process, as you asked in your question. I would say that what is critically important for anything that is digitally printed, because of the cost of the printing process itself, is to be efficient and reduce wastage. And I can see from a flexible packaging perspective that a lot of the machine suppliers have come up with new innovative solutions, to name a few, like Totani, Carlwell, Zhutai. They've come up with special solutions on how to make the process more efficient, have shorter machines dedicated, have narrower machines, to match press widths of digital machines. Typically, a digital machine would be somewhere in the circa 700 millimeter range, and you have the bag making machines and other finishing machines to match that width, so that immediately after printing you can and post lamination you can directly go into your finishing process with a very small footprint, so less wastage when running the process.
Mm-hmm. How well has the capital goods market weathered the battering of the pandemic year? How did it affect your clientele?
I would say that we cannot really see the pandemic year itself had many phases. So there was that initial panic phase, which was the binge buying phase, where everybody was stocking up rations at home, and that there was a big surge in requirement for packaging at that time. And, as a knee-jerk reaction, the industry responded to that, and said that, okay, investments need to be made, and a lot of machines came in to cater to that growth, because that seemed like the new normal, that everything will need to be packaged. And it did accelerate a lot of goods from being sold in a loose fashion in grocery stores into more organized packaged formats because of the hygiene requirements. And it also opened new segments such as hand sanitizers and the need for cleaning materials, and so that also opened up the need for packaging. So at that stage, the capital goods were working in lockstep with the demands of the market, so everything was growing. But then now, when things are a little more stable, and there seems to be an excess in the market, and things seem to be slowing down again. And I think eventually, given some time, things will rationalize on a supply-demand front before we see an uptick again. But for the last quarter and for the coming 1 or 2 quarters, I expect things to be a little slow.
So with the growing trade difficulties, we move to the other front of international market now. So with growing trade difficulties of Chinese imports and the clarion call for Atmanirbharta, how will equipped is the Indian packaging equipment manufacturing industry to respond? If there was one thing that this crisis taught us, it was the interdependence of everybody. So Atmanirbharta is a very good concept, by PM Modi, and it's a very important initiative. Every country, not only India, every country has to move towards it. But at the same time, there is no doubt about how interdependent nations are. During the peak of the COVID crisis, China had a shortage of food, and they needed food from everywhere else. So, these things, supply demand gaps keep happening. Now, specific to the packaging industry, I would say in India, it's a long way to go. It's not a flick of a switch that, okay, we decide to be Atmanirbhar and, from tomorrow we can indigenize everything.
a lot of base industry has to come into existence in some cases, and in some cases expand. We've seen a lot of installation of cold rolling mills, for instance, for aluminium foil in India in the last 2 years. And this was a deficit for India for a very long time. And, we were importing from Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, China, and Korea. And, such kind of concerted efforts, by businessmen evaluating the gaps and investing into good technology to augment capacity is definitely going to help the packaging industry. But, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a process, and it might never be an either or that, India is going to be self-sufficient. We will always be dependent on outsiders, and which is healthy.
And that's a very practical viewpoint. I represent PAMEX, and that's an exhibition. So I would like to know your views on how important you feel real-time exhibitions are for the industry.
I am personally a big fan of exhibitions. So, pre-COVID, I used to, travel to 15, 20 exhibitions a year at least. And I used to attend and participate in exhibitions across Europe, across the Far East and Africa, Middle East, India. So I think they're essential. They're what, humans by nature are social. They need to meet up. And, when we meet up, that's when the magic happens. That's when business happens. That's where opportunities are created. So there is no question that exhibitions need to come back. Definitely, exhibitions like PAMEX are doing a very good service to the industry because they bring in everybody together, the machine suppliers, and what's great about such exhibitions is that there are live demonstrations happening. So it's very interactive, and it's a learning experience for the visitors. And there will always be a need for such kind of events.
Thank you for giving us your time and agreeing for this interview.
Pleasure, Neha.